Hi, this is Christian Anderson, and I did my video on the intake worker position. The role of the intake worker. Building a framework for a trusting relationship. This relationship is important in order to be successful helping clients with their problems they may be facing. Another important role is building rapport. Building rapport with the client is important to fully provide the services needed. Good rapport helps the client feel like they matter and helps them feel more at ease when discussing their problems. Interviewing the client is another important role. Intake workers normally meet with the client 1 or 2 times. They need to collect as much information necessary to make a determination as to what kind of help is needed. Another role taken on by the intake worker is reviewing the client's financial situation. A client may be asked to bring pay stubs and other financial documents to be reviewed for eligibility and programs such as food stamps, housing and energy assistance, and child care. The intake worker also gathers demographic information like name, address, phone number, marital status, employment, salary, number and age of dependents, and types of services requested. Intake workers do not develop long-term relationships with the clients. Usually when their work is done, the client services are established, or they are referred to another worker in the agency for the other service needed. For instance, like if they need to see a counselor, then they will start seeing their counselor. Other skills needed to be an effective intake worker. They should have good nonverbal skills like walking out of the waiting room to introduce themselves to their new clients and offer them a handshake, welcome them to the agency. Review information in the client's file before meeting with them. Demonstrating knowledge of the client's personal life, such as their children's names, spouses' names, and some insight into the services they may need, will help them feel more comfortable and make it easier for them to remit all the information surrounding their specific situation. Other skills used by the intake worker, other nonverbal skills, are having your office or meeting room ready to receive the client. If you know they are going to be bringing children or other family members or even friends, make sure that you can accommodate everybody. Put yourself in their place. What would help you the most? What can you do to help the client either directly or indirectly? Show empathy for the client and the situation they may be in. And never judge a client whether you agree with their situation or not. And also listen very intently and focus on what the client is saying. Other helpful knowledge. Knowledge of agency policies, billing practices, and other outside agencies that could potentially help the clients. And also a referral may be given by an intake worker to provide the client access to specialized help they may need. For instance, they may be referred to the Salvation Army for cash assistance or bus tickets or clothes even. The position of intake worker is very important because the job of intake worker is often an entry-level position done by an undergraduate. However, it's very important because the intake worker is usually the first person a client meets with at the agency. So that's giving them the first impression of what this kind of help or agency is going to be providing for them. Usually they come to you and they're not at the best position in their life, so they need help, and they're already feeling bad about needing to ask for help. So the better you can treat them, the more respect you can give them, and make them feel like their lives matter as much as anybody else's, the more you'll be able to help them and make them feel better about themselves and their situations.